Welcome to another edition of The Greater Work, the audio outreach of Christ Worker Ministries. Listen in as experienced employee and minister, Sean Gibson brings biblical insights to help you worship God both in and with your labor. Now, let's get to work. I love how insightful the Bible is, even in things concerning your career and interviewing. It says in Proverbs 13:16, wise people think before they act. Fools don't. They even brag about their foolishness. So when we're looking at the big day, the big moment, the interview, I want to give you some tips that you can use to have a fantastic experience. So let's talk about the traditional interview. Let's start off with apparel. This goes for both men and women. Whether you're wearing a suit, a dress suit, or a pantsuit for ladies, we've got to keep this serious. Wear something dark, black, dark gray, navy blue, and men, wear a smart tie. Make sure everything fits correctly. And again, let me reiterate something to the men. Wear a tie. Also, when you go to your interview, make sure that you have not just 2 copies of your resume, one for yourself and one for the hiring manager, but also bring 1 or 2 additional copies on top of that. You never know who else is going to show up. There might be a visit by the VP, or there might be someone else there that has an impact on the hiring process. Route out the trip to the office, be familiar with how to get there, and know how long it's going to take. It would be terrible if you were late to the interview and missed out on a great opportunity because you didn't plan ahead. Plan on showing up about 10 to 20 minutes early for the interview. This is going to give you a chance to go to the bathroom, and if you need to drink some water beforehand, but again, don't drink too much where you might have to use the restroom during the interview. When you're in the interview, make sure you introduce yourself with great eye contact, give a great handshake, and also be ready with a small chit-chat, just to show that you have some good communication skills and, quite frankly, you're pleasant to work with. When you're sitting there, sit up straight, speak clearly, and no cussing. You're representing Jesus. When you're speaking and giving your answers, be clear and give concise answers. Do not drag on. Answer the question that they're asking. And then towards the end of the interview, affirm your interest in that position again, and then summarize why you're excited about the role. Then tell them why you believe you're the right one for that role. Ask for the job. If they say that there's additional steps and interviews that you've got to go through, say, hey, that's great. Can I have your blessing on moving me forward? Is there anything that would keep you from moving me on to that next stage? This gives them an opportunity to explain something to you that you may not have been aware of. They might have seen something on your resume or heard something come out of your mouth about your work history that concerns them. If they're honest, then they'll tell you. This gives you a chance to be clear and to bring clarity for something that they may have misunderstood. Also, if you haven't already done so, I cannot reiterate this enough. Ask for their business card, get their email, and then send them a thank you email. You must do this, and you need to do this really within about a 12-hour window. A newer form of interviewing is virtual interviews, and I have heard a lot of great people land some great jobs through this recently. When we're looking at virtual interviews, there's some things that we need to consider because you need to do actually a little bit more preparation than what you would do with a standard type interview. Look at the room you're going to be conducting the interview in. When you're using your computer camera or have your tablet set up, look at what's behind you. Is there anything behind you that might seem a bit controversial? If there is, remove it from the room, take down pictures, anything like that. You want to project a professional demeanor, and that even means what's behind you. Also, be aware of any noises that might be in your surrounding. Noises are distracting, and they can take you off your game if you're in the middle of an interview. If you have kids, have them go to their rooms during that time or go play outside. If you have a noisy neighbor, let them know what you're doing. You're going through a virtual interview and ask if they can be quiet during that time. I don't think that's unreasonable. Lighting is also important. Computer cameras aren't always the best for giving proper lighting. You're going to need some lighting enhancements. You need to add more light to the room to give yourself a better appearance, and one of the ways that you can do this is to bring in additional lamps. Keep them off-site, out of the camera view, but you need to do what you can to keep this from looking like you're interviewing from a morgue. Set up your microphone so that the sound levels are spot on. Listen to how you sound. You may need to adjust the microphone position, or you might need to reposition yourself. You may need to speak louder or softer. Regardless, if they can't hear you correctly, how will they know that you're qualified for the role that you're interviewing for? I want you also to consider looking at the camera positioning. Have you ever noticed how great movies look in Hollywood, how they get just the right amount of headroom in there to make an amazing looking picture? You're no different. Practice the rule of 2/3. When you are positioning your camera on yourself, try to position the bottom of the frame right just below your shoulders. Then give yourself about 2/3 above that for your body, allowing 1/3 above you. Many teleconference mediums provide additional backgrounds that you can use for occasions like interviewing. Stay away from them. They get glitchy and they can also be a distraction. Try to streamline this process as much as you can and keep it simple. A natural background is fine. They don't need to see a background of a beach, a yacht, or anything like that. Use what you got and use it wisely. Look, interviews will always require a lot of forethought, but if you will take your time, pre-plan, set the stage, look at how God can open a door for you to jump into your next role. Be blessed and go get that job. Thanks for listening to The Greater Work, a Christ Worker Ministries podcast. The Greater Work is supported by hardworking listeners just like you. To learn more about Christ Worker Ministries and how you can become part of our growing outreach, visit christworker.org.